Is up, Bills Mafia? We have 325 days to go, 272 days. We have 263 days. We have 240 days to go. We have 198. We have 154 days. We have 97 days to go. We have 86 days to go. We have 55 days to go until the Buffalo Bills win Super Bowl 57.
And now it is time for the only channel dedicated to counting down the days until the Buffalo Bills win Super Bowl 57.
I just don't know if they're going to make it.
What is up, Bills Mafia? We have 33 days to go until our Buffalo Bills win Super Bowl 57. Are you feeling it? I know a lot of you out there are like, no, man, don't say that. You don't want to jinx the Bills. I've said it all along. This team is unjinxable. There ain't no jinx in this team. They are too good. Even with all the things that have happened to the team over the course of 3-4 months, this team isn't jinxable. They're going to win the Super Bowl this year. And it's okay. If you don't feel confident in that, I get it. There's very few of us. A select few have joined this channel because we have decided that no longer are we going to hide under our beds and fear the Buffalo curse monster coming out of the closet to eat us up. We're going to battle against that. The mindset has changed. We are renewing our minds, our spirits, our outlooks. We are no longer pessimists. We are optimists. Except for Bob Marsh. Bob Marsh, he's got plenty of pessimism to go around for all of us. He keeps us, I guess, maybe balanced. But I'm going every single night until that day when we win Super Bowl 57. It started out with a bunch of videos, slamming out videos since the day after the 13-second debacle in Kansas City. I've been putting out videos and going live every day. I have put something out. I can't even believe it. It's now 341 days, I think I've been doing this crazy project of mine. I said that I got to do something. Somehow, some way, I've got to propel this team to a Super Bowl victory. I know they're the ones that play on the field. I get it, right? And all of us say, well, we can't do anything about it. We have no effect on the game. I don't think that's right. I think we do have an effect on the game. I think we have a huge effect on the game. Not just when you're at the stadium and the crowd's going crazy and the other team can't hear the snap count. I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about the spiritual nature of things. Like this whole Damar Hamlin thing, right? If there is any bigger, there is no bigger indicator of how the world, country, world, region, whatever fan base can come together and make miracles happen. What's up, Bob Marsh? I was just talking about you. I said you're our pessimist that keeps us all kind of grounded when it comes to our optimism about the Bills. But I think I'm even winning Bob Marsh over. Although I don't think Bob Marsh and most of us probably won't be fully confident that we're going to win the Super Bowl until the last seconds tick off the clock in Arizona and Buffalo has at least one more point than the opposition. All right. Went at my little rant there. Just want you guys to know that we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And, don't get me wrong. there are times where I'm watching. You see the live streams when I do the watch parties where I'm just like sitting back in my chair here and I'm like, this ain't good. This ain't good. But eventually, so far, for the most part, eventually Buffalo finishes the deal. Emmett says Bills and Eagles. He says that's who is going to be in the Super Bowl. You ain't alone there, pal. A lot of people saying the Eagles, and that's I would say a very safe. It's a very safe prediction for sure. Because, out of the NFC, I don't know any team that is really, going to be able to really give the Philadelphia Eagles a game. The Cowboys, they stink. The Vikings, they're not really that good. Come on now. They have been winning by smoke and mirrors all season long. The 49ers, although they're rolling with a quarterback there that is, basically a rookie, right? Yeah, rookie. So we'll see. I think it's going to be Niners, Eagles in the NFC Championship game. And I guess, it's going to be the Bills and Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. That's how it shapes up. All right, what I want to do real quick, I don't want to waste a ton of your time, but like you, I'm thinking about this game all day long. It's just kind of pathetic, really. I got a family and kids, and, they're like, Daddy, come play with me. And I'm like, I got to sit here and think about the Bills playoff game against the Dolphins. Leave me alone, kid. I'm sorry, kid. All right, dude. Spend some time with them, and, All right, get off my lap. But anyway, with that said, I've been thinking about the Bills-Dolphins matchup, and I've been thinking about the playoffs in its entirety, like what we are facing. We all know what we're facing, right? We're going to beat the Dolphins. We're beating the Dolphins. That I went through the history of upsets in the NFL playoffs, and it's just like there's so few. There's like maybe 2 or 3 over the last 20 years that are even semi-significant. The Dolphins are not beating the Bills. I don't care if Tua's playing or not. The Dolphins are not beating the Bills. It's going to be a lot like last season when we played the Patriots twice, lost to them at home in a hurricane. Hey, they beat us in the wind. We lost to them in the wind. Then we went into New England, and we took care of business. It wasn't like a blowout. And then New England comes into town for the first game of the playoffs, and we absolutely throttle them. That's what you're going to see absolutely 100% Sunday against the Dolphins. We're going to throttle this team. They scored nine lousy points at home against the Jets. The Dolphins are not going to be able to handle this game. This game's going to be over early. It's going to kind of be a semi-bye week for the Bills. I really could see them up by 30 at halftime. I mean, we've said that kind of stuff all year long in a lot of the regular season games. The NFL playoffs are a lot like hockey playoffs. Playoffs in general. The cream rises to the top, and everybody is all in 100%. And we have a much better team than the Dolphins, so we are going to throttle them. Okay. Real quick, we got Knuckles Super Studios saying squish the fish. No doubt about that. And Kobe wants to know, what's my Super Bowl matchup pick? I mean, Bills-Eagles. Bills-Eagles. I mean, as boring as that is, that makes the most sense. Bills-Eagles. And it makes sense for me because my in-laws are all from Philadelphia. And I just figure that somehow, some way, I'm going to have extra stress for the Super Bowl. And what better way to have extra stress than have your team finally, going for their first Super Bowl victory and have the in-laws just sending you text messages and making phone calls and the like. So I'm like, yeah, no, that makes total sense. It's going to be the Eagles. So, yeah, other than that, I guess San Francisco. I could see San Francisco beating Philadelphia. Now, that's what I would prefer. I would love to see San Francisco in the Super Bowl because that would be stinking awesome. That would be stinking awesome because the Bills almost met the 49ers multiple times back in the 80s and 90s. So that would be cool. All right, that's not what this is about. Well, we got plenty of time to talk about all that. I kind of want to just gloss over a little bit of what I see heading into our game against the Dolphins, get your take on a few things, but really, I want to share with you the 6 players. I mean, pretty much every player has to have an impact in the playoffs, but 6 players, 3 on defense, 3 on offense, you got to even it out, that I think are going to have, not need to have, but are going to have a huge impact on the playoffs. Okay? Some of them might be a surprise. Others are like, yeah, duh. Okay? So I'm going to go over that in a second. But right now, the Dolphins game coming up. This one's simple. The only way the Dolphins have a chance. Let's approach it from the Dolphins' perspective. The Dolphins have to come into this game and slow the game down. They have to run the ball. They have to actually, I think, take as much time in between snaps to take as much time off the clock, and they have to finish their drives with touchdowns, period. And then on defense, they're going to have to go buck wild and try to get that ball out and on the ground. They're going to have to punch at that ball. They're going to have to kick and bite and scratch and everything else. They're going to have to go Trey Hendrickson on this team and take it to the limit, push the envelope any way they can to try to create turnovers, try to get Bills players off their game, try to get Bills players to throw punches. I mean, this is going to be a backyard, brawl type of tactic game for the Dolphins. They're just going to have to basically be nasty little humans, people. That's it. And if they can get some turnovers, and if they can slow the game down, and on top of all that, get the referees to make some crap calls, then maybe they'll be close going into the fourth quarter. Maybe. I don't think so. And if you want to leave your prediction, go ahead if you haven't done already. If you get the prediction exactly right, I'm going to send you a hat and a pullover. You just got to comment on this stream, your score, and if you get the score exactly right, I'll send that to you. But you got to kind of clue me in if you get it right, because I'm pretty much not going to go through all the chats to look for the scores. I should probably just have one video, but that's what I'm going to do. No one's won, and I guess it's just really that hard, which is great because I don't want to spend a bunch of money on a super nice hat and a pullover. All right, so that is just a quick take on the Dolphins game coming up. 6 players that I believe are going to have, are not going to have, but are going to have not just a good game against the Dolphins, and they may not even show up against the Dolphins, but down the stretch, as we go from the Dolphins game to the Bengals game, assuming they beat the Ravens, and then the Chiefs, assuming that we're going to be playing the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And I got to take about the AFC Championship game I want to share too. So we got Dave from Hawaii. What's up, players? Aloha, Bills Mafia. I love when you're on, Dave. I really do. And Bob says, I ain't thinking about it. It's a game. All right. I'm not sure what that meant. San Fran has very good defense. Yes, they do. So I think they could beat the Eagles. And the Bills went 13-3. Not too shabby. Exactly. All right. My first player. Let's go from offense to defense to offense to defense. All right. The first player that I think is going to have an impact in the playoffs, maybe Sunday, but overall, we're going to see him and we're going to say, where was this guy all season long? And that is Khalil Shakir. I think this guy is dynamic. I think this guy is really good at taking short passes and taking them upfield. He's very speedy. He's a lot better than Isaiah McKenzie. I think he's better than Cole Beasley from what I've seen. I think he is our future slot receiver. And I think the future is now. I think Khalil Shakir, and maybe they're kind of hiding him, under a bushel for the season. And they wanted to break him out, get that nice little sports car out of the garage for the playoffs. That could be. We saw him make a play last week against the Patriots, or last game against the Patriots. So Khalil Shakir is my number one guy. He is, in my opinion, going to have a real nice his first playoff run. I see him making some big plays. And, defenses can't really game plan for him much because there's not a ton of game film on him. All right, going to the defense, a guy that I think is going to have a super nice playoff run. This one's not a surprise. Come on now. We can all say it before I even say it, right? Matt Milano. Matt Milano, as long as he's healthy, is going to show up big time. He is our star on our defense. I think after Von Miller, Matt Milano is the star. And, of course, we don't have Von Miller. Can't have Von Miller, right? We had to had to lose him. But Matt Milano is going to show up big time on the defense and just be he's going to make game-changing plays in the playoffs. That's my one guy on defense. Let's go back to the offense. A guy I think is going to have a super nice playoff run with the Bills starting right away against the Miami Dolphins, and that is James Cook. James Cook has been coming on lately. He has getting a lot more touches. I think he's kind of splitting the time with Devin Singletary, who also is playing very well, aside from his fumble, right? Last week against the Patriots. James Cook taking passes out of the backfield. I think he's feeling a lot more comfortable. I think more importantly, Sean McDermott's feeling a lot more comfortable with James Cook. Look for James Cook to have a really nice playoff run with the Bills here, starting Sunday against the Dolphins. I can see James Cook going for over 100 yards against the Dolphins on Sunday. All right, let's go back to the defensive side of the ball. My next guy that I think is going to have a nice, solid playoff run with the Bills, making some big plays, and that is a guy who started making some big plays in the game against the Patriots, and that is Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White, I think, is starting to get his sea legs back. I really think that he's feeling comfortable. He didn't look too good out of the gate against the Bengals. I will say that. So I'm not saying that he's returned to form. But I think Trey White is now gaining the confidence you need to have after the type of injury that he had. So there you go. So far, I got Milano and Trey White on the defense. I've got Shakir and Cook on the offense. And then a sneaky little player, I think, coming in. He did not get on the field once against the Patriots, which to me was a bit of a surprise because he got a fair amount of snaps over the first couple games from his return. And that, of course, is Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley was one of, if not the top outlet guy last season for the Bills. Josh Allen and Cole Beasley just were always on the same page. I got to imagine that Cole Beasley is, acclimated again. He's just got to be kind of almost picking up where he left off, right? It took, I'm sure, a couple weeks, but he's been back long enough. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was intentionally left out of the Patriots game so the Dolphins wouldn't have much game film on him. Not that there's not plenty of game film on Cole Beasley to be had, but They don't know, obviously what we're going to throw at them just yet. And I think we might see a nice dose of Cole Beasley against the Bengals. Now that I say that, we probably won't see him at all. But that's what makes this fun, right? It's trying to make predictions and getting them right and saying, doggone, you knew, Steve. You called it. Cole Beasley had 11 catches for 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. You called it, Steve. And I'll be like, yeah, I know. I knew it. I don't really know it. But I get that impression that somehow, some way, maybe they left Cole Beasley off the field against the Patriots to just kind of leave the Dolphins hopefully a little off guard in what we're going to see. Let's jump in this chat real quick before I reveal my one player on defense that I think is absolutely going to have a super playoff run. We got Knuckles saying, Bills 38, Dolphins 20. Josh eats them alive. That is about what I say. I see about 38-14, 38-17. If Tua plays, maybe 38-21, 38-24. If Tua doesn't play, I don't see them getting more than 16. All right, and Jeff KC is here. What's up, brother? Good to see you. I don't know if Jeff KC is a KC fan or not. I don't think he is, but I don't know. He's coming on the stream, and I appreciate that. Okay, we've got Bills Maniac 210, one of my mainstays here. Here to say the Go Bills, and it's time to squish the fish. 38-14. There you go. That's about what I'm thinking. 38-14. 38-14, 38-20. Yeah, right around there. Troy says we will rock the socks off Miami. Bills win 35-21. I guess we're all in agreement about where we are going to be on this game. Weren't they limited to use him because of certain rules? I think you're talking about Cole Beasley and maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe Bob, let me know exactly what you mean on that. Advanced Hood Cleaning Solutions, 3117. And Troy says Gabriel Davis will shine. I would love it if Gabe Davis shined. There's something about Gabe Davis, Josh Allen, the offense. It's not clicking. Doesn't help that he drops a absolute bomb in the end zone that's right in his breadbasket against the Patriots. But hey, he blew up against the against the Chiefs in the playoffs last year. So I'll take it. Let's go, Gabe. Let's get your game back. And Knuckle says, I was thinking the same thing about Bees. Drop him in a complete change-up so the Finns don't see it coming, or the Bengals next week. Exactly. I'm not even sure that they would want to use Cole Beasley against the Dolphins in the capacity that I'm talking about. They really might save that guy for the Bengals if they have confidence in him, right? But I would love to see it just a deluge of, is that the word? An avalanche of passes to Khalil Shakir and Cole Beasley. Quick pop passes. They get upfield, which I want to make a point about the Bengals offense here in a second. But quick passes to Beasley, quick passes to Khalil Shakir. You have the Dolphins or the Bengals or the Chiefs when we get that fire saying, dang, man, what the heck? We didn't see this coming. This wasn't in your film. And so, we got to move up and, get on these guys before they get these quick pop passes, slants, and everything. And before you know it, that our boy Gabe Davis and our boy Stephon Diggs are, hauling in the 40, 50-yard passes. Oh, I can't wait for this. It's only Tuesday, doggone it. Yes, he was in the practice squad. I don't know if he was elevated for the Patriots game, but he was elevated for the last, the 2 games prior to that, and he got on the field for, about a dozen snaps. So, and he had, I think he had 2 catches in each of those games. All right. Final guy that I think is going to have probably the biggest impact in the playoffs, starting right away with the Dolphins game. Before I reveal the one guy on defense that I think is going to have a mammoth playoff run with the Bills, let's see if anybody here can guess. Let's see who guesses who my guy is on the defense. We have Matt Milano, who's going to have huge playoffs. I think Trey's going to have a nice playoff. He's going to make a lot of impact plays. But there's one guy I think is going to absolutely be like all over the field, making gigantic play after gigantic play on the defense. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds here to lock in your answers. And I'll tell you what, if you get it right, I'm going to give you 3 raffle tickets for our 50-50 that I'm going to have after the game. And I'm going to roll over some of the money from Bob Marsh. Bob Marsh, thanks so much. I'm going to, keep some of it for myself. Thank you for the gift. But I think Bob Marsh will be okay to roll over. Let's start off with $25 already in the raffle from Bob Marsh to, get that going. So 3 raffle tickets. If anybody guesses the player I think is going to have a gigantic play in the playoffs. There's only about 9 of you, so I guess there'll probably be 5 or 6 guesses. But we've got Jordan Phillips from Advanced Hood. I'm going to stick with that one. You also said Marlowe and White, which I had said. Give a few more seconds here for the one guy. Let's see if you guys can get the one guy I think is going to have a gigantic game for the Bills or gigantic playoff run with the Bills on defense. In the meantime, I want to make a 1 point about the Bengals and the quick pop plays I was talking about to Beasley, to Khalil Shakir. So I watched the highlights of the Bengals-Ravens game, and I'll tell you what, that offense is a well-oiled machine. Joe Burrow is doing what Josh Allen did from 2020 and 2021. And those are that quick drop back, quick pop plays, boom, snap, read, pass, snap, read, pass. And this year, he's held the ball a lot more. I'm sure defenses are playing him differently now, which has been part of the reason why he holds the ball longer. But Joe Burrow, man, from what I see, and it makes it very easy for him to do this when he's got players like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, the wily veteran. I watched the highlights from that Bengals-Ravens game last week, and I was like, wow, okay, this is an offense that knows what it's doing. Joe Burrow is no joke. He is no joke. Joe is no joke. So I'm hoping that Buffalo can duplicate the offense because, like I said, with Von Miller out and Micah Hyde out and Christian Benford still yet to return, the best way that the Bills can improve their defense is to improve their offense. They've got to score more points. And when it comes to that Bengals game that is likely coming here to Buffalo in a little over a week and a half, we're going to have to score points against this team. Going to have to score points. All right, we got Troy saying Gregory Rousseau. And same with Knuckle. Advanced Hood Cleaning says Jordan Phillips. And those are great answers. Probably better than mine. But I'm going to reveal now the one guy I think is going to have a mammoth playoff run with the Buffalo Bills. Did either of you guys get it right? The answer is no, because I think Taron Johnson is going to absolutely light up. I mean, did you see the hit that he put on, who was it? Was it Bourne against the Patriots, or was it, I forget who it was, but in fact, I was afraid he was going to get a personal foul penalty for hitting a defenseless receiver. But that dude, I think, is jacked and ready to roll in the playoffs. I'm thinking Taron Johnson's going to come away with 2 interceptions over the next 3 games heading into the Super Bowl. He's going to have numerous pass defenses and just absolutely play lights out for the Bills on the defensive side of the ball. And he's going to have to. He's going to have to. Taron Johnson is going to have to. All these players, every player for the Bills on offense and defense, they're going to have to play lights out. And if they play lights out, as I expect them to, we don't lose. We will win the next 4 games in a row. We're going to smash the Dolphins, take care of business at home against the Bengals. Thank goodness that game's at home. Neutral site for Kansas City Chiefs. If they get that far, they'll have to beat the Chargers or the Jaguars, unless somehow the Ravens pull off an upset against the Bengals, which would be so sweet. Holy gosh. If the Bengals can pull off the upset against the Ravens, if the Ravens can pull an upset of the Bengals, did I say that right? If the Ravens can pull off an upset against the Bengals, then the Ravens go and play Kansas City, and then we're playing the Chargers or the Jaguars here in Buffalo. And, those 2 games will be probably pretty tough too. But I would rather play them than the Bengals. Let's just say it. I'd rather play one of them than the Bengals. Bengals are going to make it a game here in Buffalo. There's no doubt about it. I just don't need to sweat it. I just don't want to sweat it. I want to get all the way to the Super Bowl in style and win this thing, baby. Win this thing. And it starts Sunday against the Miami Dolphins. Let's see what you guys are saying real quick in the chat. That's right. Knuckle says Taron is a stud. He is. He is really, really turning into be one of our better defensive players. You remember that great return he had against the Ravens in the playoffs. And Advance says, I'm with you. He comes up big a lot. Yep, thank you. I appreciate you showing some, confidence in my choice there. And that's it for tonight. Just wanted to share that with you. And to help us all get ready, because we are now 33 days away from the Buffalo Bills winning Super Bowl 57. I'll see you tomorrow.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout, yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby. Say you will. Come on, come on. Say you will. Come on and shout. Say you will. Yeah. Shout. Buffalo's happening now. Shout. We're on the move now. Shout. The Bills are happening now. Shout. They're making it happen now. Shout. We got the spirit, shout. A lot of spirit, yeah. Shout. We got the spirit. Shout. Just watch it happen now. Hey, 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 hey. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. The Bills make me wanna shout.